What's up, guys? Welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm going to be showing you guys a pull day for strength, which is back, bicep, and rear delts. Right now, I'm just tightening up my belt, and I'm going to do a warm-up set on deadlifts. 225, I believe I did this for 8. When you're doing deadlifts, always remember to keep that chest up high, shoulders locked back, and keep your lower back straight. Having roundness in your lower back could cause you damage and could hurt you over time. Always use your legs to help pick up the weight. After this, I'm moving on to 3 sets of 4 reps with 335 pounds on the bar. It's a 45-pound deadlift bar that I use. A deadlift bar just basically has more grip on it. So if you're doing conventional deadlift, lifters will have more grip when they're lifting. I believe they're used in competitions. I'm not sure. But for me personally, powerlifting, it's easier to practice with the deadlift bar. I didn't used to take my shoes off when I deadlifted, but ever since my first real powerlifting meet, and I had some help, I realized that taking my shoes off was the best bet, especially with Asics, because I got a lot of squish in the bottom. Otherwise, Asics are amazing. I love them for training. As you do see, my back is rounded a little bit here, but it's when you're deadlifting 335 pounds, it becomes easy to happen. Quick little flex in the mirror. I do that a lot. Just kind of helps with motivation and stuff. This is moving into a second set. I did this also for 8. Usually I do a little bit heavier with 4. I probably do 340, 345. But I believe I have a pinched nerve in the bottom of my left tricep, and that was bothering me when I was locking out on top from the pull. So I went a little bit lighter on deadlifts today, but second set was pretty easy. A little change up in views here. Now I'm on to my third set. I straightened up my barbell because otherwise it just throws the whole thing off the whole time I'm doing it. And it just sits better in my mind. I use a mixed grip when I do deadlifts because overhand, I just don't have enough strength in my forearms to hold it when I'm doing it with a regular grip. Next, we're on to lat pulldowns. I adjusted the seat height, bar height for my legs, so my legs fit good under it. I put the weight on the machine to, I believe it was 120. Right here, I just did underhand because I feel I get sometimes a better connection and with the underhand lat pull down. So I did a set of this for 8 too, also. And I'll leave down in the description my whole workout for this day, so then you don't have to try to follow along in the video. But then these weren't sets exactly, they were kind of warm-up sets. So then I changed it up a little bit, changed the view. As you can see here, I was doing conventional lat pull down, and I just felt that reverse grip was better for that day. It felt better and looked better too when I rewatched myself in the video. I kind of come forward with my lat pull downs and then lean back slightly with it when I come down. When you're doing reversed grip, you always want to keep your hands about shoulder width apart. Otherwise, you get some pain in the shoulders and pull that you don't really want. Keeping them elbows in the same line of axis will help engage the lats more and use them more on your way down. I always let my the bar up easy after I do lat pull downs, as you can see there. Most people usually just let go and let it slam, but it's annoying for the other people that are in the gym, and it's not good for the machine over time. So I always let it up easy. Right here, I'm just doing some stretching, cracking, getting ready. Always try to warm up a little bit, stretch a little bit, so it eases the muscles into it and prevents you from hurting yourself easier. Still stretching a little bit more, contemplating, working up the motivation to get into the set. Sometimes on lat pull down, I also use a more neutral grip bar that's shoulder width apart to where my hands turned inward towards each other more. So I also use that to get a good connection with the lats. Here, I should have corrected myself personally from my experience. My right hand was a little bit farther in than my left side, so I was trying to balance that out the whole time and make it not visible in the video. I should have fixed that. That's bad on my part. I made it to the 8 reps on that. Onto the, believe this might have been 3rd or 4th set. Not exactly sure. Okay, so I checked. This is actually the 3rd set. I have one more set after this, but I cut it out of the video because I figured you guys wouldn't want to watch me for a 4th time. Right now, I'm just wiping down the equipment. Helps kind of prevent the equipment from wearing so much and gets all them nasty germs off there and sweat that other people really don't want when they're working out. On to next. These are one of my favorite things. Cable bicep curls on the machine. I did this for 4 sets of 8 with, I believe I had 120 or 130 on there. Not sure. I do rock a little bit here and cheat, but it just, the pump and the contraction in the bicep is amazing. A little change up in views. This is better to see how the bicep works here. The bar there I use is like a neutral grip bar. Works really well for me. I don't go all the way down because I like to keep the contraction in my bicep at all times. You will get the nastiest bicep pump from this thing. If you want to see a good pre-workout pump and just energy meal, check out my TikTok at Bryson Becker. Change up in view again, quick little flex. I had to move it because somebody was using the table that was there and I didn't want to get in their way. Moving on to the 3rd set. These go pretty quick. They're really easy. Sometimes I superset them with reverse grip curls. So I'll hit these and I'll hit reverse grip right after that and then take a rest and do another set and another set. Usually 3 or 4 sets, you will get the nastiest bicep pump, the best feeling, and your forearms will be dead. The top of your forearms at least after it. It gets really hard here in the end. I believe I was doing 140 after checking back in my book. You might have seen my book. That's my workout book. I write all of my workouts in that book and keep track of them day after day. It's just easier for me to use than my phone, especially if I'm recording videos now. It's so much easier just to use the book. I highlight it. I write down all my weights. I'm on to my 3rd book now. I've went through 2 of them. Let me know down in the comment section if you'd like to see how I write them out and keep track of my book. That's the handle I use. So you see it, always put your equipment away. Now I'm moving on to a rear delt row. It's almost like a 1-arm row that you use, except for your elbow stays out more. I do the right and the left side. These are pretty easy. I did it with 45 pounds, 3 sets of 8. Sorry to anyone who got caught in the back of this video. I usually lay the bench down flat, and sometimes it's easier on my hand if I prop the bench up, the front of the seat up a little bit. I do use a little bit of momentum here. I didn't quite realize that as I was doing it. That's another great reason why it's good to record yourself when you're working out, because you can see your form and how you're doing. Because sometimes just people don't let you know, or you don't realize, or other people don't realize that you're doing it wrong also. So it's good to record yourself and see and just compare, watch different videos on form, ask different people how they do it. And you can also play with the form to see how you get the best mind to muscle connection. Mind to muscle connection is about everything when you're coming to weightlifting, powerlifting, anything of that sort. It'll help you build muscle. If you have the best mind to muscle connection, but you only bench 115, your chest is going to grow so much faster than somebody that benches 225 and just throws the weight around, has no mind to muscle connection, no proper form, nothing like that. So I'm just going to show you my calluses on my hand. That's why I usually deadlift towards the end, but today I did it first because I was pushing myself really heavy. The calluses, you'll get them over time, and they'll come and they'll go. Usually there's certain days that'll make them act up. You could wear lifting gloves, but personally, I kind of think lifting gloves are girly. But you could wear them. Lotion, things like that will help. There's not much you can do. You can pick them off and stuff. But you'll get them. They'll go. That's pretty much about it for rear delt rows. I'll cut this part out because you guys probably don't want to watch me do this for much longer. Never mind, I actually thought we had more sets, but I'm moving right on. Smith machine shrugs. These are my favorite. I used to do dumbbell shrugs, and I just did not like them. I started doing Smith machine shrugs, and my traps really did grow after I did that. I loaded on a 45-25 on each side, but it was personally a little light. That was more of a warm-up set. I grabbed my lifting straps here. They help with my calluses a lot. They're not allowed in powerlifting meets. Wraps are, straps are not, but they help when doing things like lat pulldown, deadlifts if you're doing it for a lot of reps, shrugs like this. It just helps so your hands don't hurt so much. I ended up adding on a 5 because 45-25 was a little bit light. I count the Smith machine bar as 45 just to keep track of it, but it doesn't actually weigh 45. It probably weighs between 20 and 35 pounds, somewhere in that range, actually, if it were to be weighed. It took me a minute to hook up the wraps here, or straps, but I got them all on. So basically here when you're doing shrugs, you stand about shoulder width apart and put your hands, or here's a better view of it. So you stand about shoulder width apart, put your hands just outside shoulder width. They come in a little bit like almost like making an M. And then you just shrug it straight up, and almost you're bringing your shoulders basically up to your ears. You can see it once again here on the set that I did. Try to keep your elbows straight. It gets hard sometimes, but just do your best. I like to take everything out of my pockets when I do this because it kind of runs up the front of your legs. You don't want to hit anything. Here I'm moving on to spider curls. This is another one of my favorite bicep exercises. I put a 25 on here for my first set. So you're going to come up, really contract at the top, and then control the way down nice and good. It's a little bit to learn to get in the position to do it on the bench, but once you have it set and memorized how to do it, it's very easy. The bench gets put on a 45-degree angle, and you just use an easy curl bar. I believe this easy curl bar is about 17 pounds. So with the 25 that I had on it, it weighed about 67 pounds because 17 plus 50 is 67. Once I had on 2.5s, it upped the weight to about 2.5, or up the weight by 5 pounds with 2.5s on the side, to about 72 pounds. It got a little bit harder. I started to struggle more on it. Changed up the view again here. You hold about shoulder width apart on the angles, where it angles up a little bit. It's easier on the wrists compared to a barbell curl that's why I like to use the easy bar. I still use barbells sometimes, but the easy bar just makes it easier on my wrists and forearms, so it doesn't hurt so much. You could also do spider curls like this with dumbbells. You could use the barbell. You can do like a prone hammer incline curl or spider curl. Here I moved on to rear delt flies. I like to do these personally on the cable machine. Makes it a lot easier. You could do it single arm or dual like this. I pull from both sides. It almost looks like swords you're pulling out. You fly back at a 45-degree angle in an athletic stance. Some people might question what you're doing. I had somebody come up to me in this video and he was wondering if I was doing something with triceps or lats, and I said rear delts, and he's like, oh, alright. But it's perfectly fine. You'll feel a lot in your shoulders. There's a lot of tension the cables keep in it. I find this one of my favorite workouts for rear delts, and I know sometimes, personally at least for me, it can be hard to find good rear delt workouts because like rear delt flies on a machine, I can't really feel that. I was doing 25 pounds on a cable machine. That got too hard trying to do it for 8, so I lowered the weight to 20. I think I did a few more reps up higher, closer to the 10 rep range, just because I didn't want to stop at 8 when I knew I had more in the tank. On my last set, I did a drop set kind of. I did 20 till I got to like failure, and then I dropped it to 15 and just burnt out. I just have to say, I love this workout. Okay, so I cut out a few of the clips so you guys weren't stuck watching me doing rear delt flies for 2 minutes. I moved on to seated cable row, or cable seated row. I personally can't use the regular grip for the seated row because I max out the machine. The cable machine maxes out at 200, and it's just, I can't. I have to do upwards of 12 or more reps to even get a feeling for it. So I do one arm. I believe I had this on about 110. I hold my shoulder kind of across my chest for some stability and help with it. That's the handle I normally use for regular seated rows. It's also the handle I use, as I'll demonstrate here, for a neutral grip lat pull down because my gym doesn't have one of the other handles like that. So moving on to the second set here, chugging right along. The rests I usually take are about a minute to 2 minutes, unless I'm in a rush. Otherwise, sometimes if I'm hitting like a max, I'll do rests of 5 minutes or more sometimes. But usually my reps are between a minute and 2 minutes. If I'm pushing really hard on a day, I'll do 2.5, 3 minutes. But otherwise, that's what I do for my rest times. Again, I cut out some of this video, so then you guys weren't stuck watching me for all that time. I didn't want it to get boring. I wiped off my bench, put that back. Here I'm doing 3 sets of 8 hammer curls. Usually I use 35s, but I felt strong and the 35s were taken, so I used 40s for these. As you can see, I didn't get as high as I would like on the last few reps for the second and third set, maybe a little bit on the first set. I used an arm blaster. It was my first ever time using an arm blaster. I didn't personally feel any difference isolating the biceps. I'm going to do some more research on that and figure it out. I'll let you guys know. One thing I do have to say, though, is it makes my arms look very big and cool. I usually like hammer curls to get the brachialis and the tops of my forearms some. I don't usually do standard bicep curls with just dumbbells. I feel there's better workouts for it. I haven't tried those with the arm blaster yet, but I will in the future. I'm just going to warn you guys. It is okay to rock a little bit and cheat a little bit with your curls. As long as you are putting in your best effort and worth for the first reps. Once you get to your last steps and start getting burnt out, it is okay to rock a little bit. Some people would criticize you and judge you on that, but in my world, it's okay if you rock a little bit. And that will bring this workout to an end. I want to thank you all for watching my first YouTube video, and check out my Instagram and TikTok. They'll be in the description below. See ya.